Block Breaker 3 Unlimited is a mobile game that is so fun, I'm shocked that it was never ported to 64-bit operating systems. Welcome back to Delisted! Block Breaker 3 was released in 2010 by Gameloft on iOS, Android and Java, with both a touchscreen version as well as a numberpad one, and as the name suggests, it is the third entry in the series, and also the final one. Block Breaker is a breakout clone, a game you've most likely played, or at the very least seen before. In fact, you can even play a breakout clone directly inside of Google, which is really cool. That's not to dismiss the achievements Gameloft managed with this title though, because it is more than a simple hit a row of bricks kind of game. It's actually more similar to Peggle in the way that the bricks are arranged, and how you can slide along the bricks and gain multipliers that way. The paddle doesn't even have to stay on the bottom of the screen, as in the later stages your paddle would be vertical, or even upside down. You get a crazy number of power-ups hidden within the bonus bricks. There are 3 types of power-ups: red, blue and green. Red ones are power downs, if you will, as they exist to make the game more difficult, such as one that makes your paddle slower, or one that makes your paddle disappear entirely. Blue items are for your paddle, and those include a brick attractor that sticks bricks onto your pad, which then you can shoot to destroy more bricks, a force wave that lets you push your ball while it is in the air, and a gun to shoot bricks and enemies down, just to name a few. And in regards to green items, they are power-ups for your ball, and they include a fireball that destroys all bricks in one hit, as some bricks will take multiple hits, a dynamite pickup that lets you blow up bricks around your ball, and again that's just scratching the surface. You earn money for each stage, and there is money stored away within the bonus bricks too. This money can then be used by upgrades for your pads and balls, and as well as this, there are also collectibles within certain stages, which I'll talk about more later on. There is a story mode within this game, but as well as this, there is a serious amount of game modes for a mobile game of its time, including an endless mode, blockmaster mode, time attack mode, crazy mode, versus mode, frenzy mode, boss rush mode, survival mode, and over on Java there is even local multiplayer, where both users use the same phone to compete against each other, which I can imagine is an ergonomic nightmare. While the story mode has around 100 levels, the game can also procedurally generate maps too, so really, the game is endless in that sense. Alright, let me mention the story mode because it is hilarious. In the first area named Neon Rose, we have a 2009 Lady Gaga looking character who speaks like a bratty girl. The text is incredibly cringe, but it's also adorable and gives you a good idea of how these characters would sound like if there was any voice acting. The second area, a beach, has a dude who again speaks exactly like the standard stereotypical surfer bro from the era. Or maybe a frat bro. Or maybe it's Maybelline. Each area has special drops that relate to the theme of that area. For example, within the nightclub setting of Neon Rose, we have drinks and earrings. In the beach stage we have hi-fis, surfboards and watercrafts, and so on, all very appropriate. But yeah, the game really does keep each level fresh by having you do something completely different to the previous level. Sometimes there are these slimes that appear on your screen and you have to kill them with your ball. Sometimes you have bricks that drop, and if you hit them with your paddle, you lose a life. Sometimes you have to manage 3 balls at once. And if you have any of the speed power-ups, the game really does push your multitasking skills. Sometimes you have to drop your balls into holes to proceed with the level. And with slimes, ball shooters, or hard to reach bricks being in the way, you can really start losing lives quickly. And at the end of each area is a boss battle too. When you only have a few bricks remaining, you can tap the paddle or press 0 on the number pad in order to suck your balls back into the paddle, which also gives them a huge boost in speed. The reason I started playing this game is because of its music. It's unapologetically early 2010s EDM. It's equally kick-ass and yet sounds really basic and kitsch. But I have to admit that the boss battle music does go quite hard, and likewise with the game over music, which almost doesn't make you want to retry, you just want to sit there on the try again screen listening to the song. The Java version also had these tracks in MIDI form, and the way they sound totally depends on what sound font or sound chip your phone had. The music was so good that it was even uploaded on Gameloft's SoundCloud page too, and the main menu music has been remixed once or twice during the game's lifespan too. The game was originally paid for, but as the trend shifted towards microtransactions, Gameloft made the game free in 2012. As that version is pretty impossible to get your hands on, I can only infer by this video that the game likely became the standard pay-to-retry slop that most mobile games are even to this day. I mean, look at all those plus buttons for things you can spend real money on, great! And there's even a slot machine. Let's get those youngsters hooked on gambling early. Well, at least that version is wiped from the face of the earth. Speaking of which, if you wish to play Block Breaker 3 today, your best bet is probably the Java version with J2ME loader if you have a modern Android phone. Or if you have an old Android phone lying around, the native 32-bit cracked version of the game is still floating around the internet. The Java version had been re-released on Android via the app Gameloft Classics back in 2020. However, that itself has been delisted for an unknown reason. Shame, as it had a pretty neat collection of Gameloft's later Java games. The final way you can play this game is with Gameloft's official HTML5 port, which lets you play it on a modern phone or on your computer with keyboard support. However, the music and resolution is low quality, and the touchscreen controls are terrible. Back in the day, the iOS version was definitely the one to go for, since it ran at smooth 60 FPS compared to Android's seemingly 30 FPS cap, and the game's assets were higher quality on iOS, a classic Android moment that used to be. But for now, that's all I have to say about Block Breaker 3 Unlimited. I'm going to keep playing it, and hopefully finish it since I've genuinely enjoyed it, and it might be a good time killer while on the bus to work and back.